Hello and welcome. My name is Aaliyah, and I'm going to guide you through a yoga flow that concentrates on balance and our core. So, if you would join me to a seated position, any position that you feel comfortable, you don't necessarily need any props for today's practice, but I always like to have a few blocks handy just in case I would like some more space in my practice. So I invite you just to start paying attention to your breath. Place your hands in a comfortable position. Maybe lift the shoulders and push them down in the back. Just paying attention to our breath, seeing what comes up for us. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. So I invite you to inhale for 5, hold at the top for 5, and then exhale everything out for 7. Inhale. Hold the breath for 5. Exhale everything out for 7. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Let's do that again. We're starting to just tap into our own sympathetic nervous system, allowing our bodies to become grounded into the earth, finding that relaxation system. Hold and exhale. Let's take one final big breath. This time we're going to inhale through the nose. Big inhale, let everything come into our bodies. Pause. And exhale everything out through the nose and the mouth. If you had your eyes closed, I like you to blink them open. From here, we are going to just roll our wrist. A nice big circle, whatever direction is fine. Just getting some mobility through our wrist. And switching directions. Still keeping with our breath. Our natural breath is fine. Flexing the wrist back and forth. Just getting ready for those downward dogs, tabletop positions. Perfect. And I invite you to come into a tabletop position. From here, we're going to actually roll our ankles round in a circle. Just letting our wrists hang out underneath our shoulders. And then switch directions. If you have sensitive knees, you can roll your mat or take a blanket and place them underneath. And from here, I like you to drop your toes down on the mat, curl them under, and then release. Curl them under and release. Pressing the tops of the feet down into the earth. Curl and release. At the same time, I want you to begin to engage through the core, pulling the belly button into the spine. Imagine there was a string attached to the inside of your belly button and you're pulling it back. One more here. And relax the tops of the feet down onto the earth. Take a big inhale. Lift everything up into cat. Pushing the shoulders back and down. Lifting through the crown. Letting the belly sink down to the earth. Exhale, round the chin into the chest. Pressing the hips forward. And inhale, cat. Keep with the breath. Good. Grounding the hands into the ground. Exhale. Pressing the hips forward, rounding the shoulders for cat. I think I've called the first one cat. Inhale. Lifting up for cow. Letting the belly fall to the earth. And here I would like you to take your own cat-cow. So just pushing back and forth. Allowing the hips maybe to circle and sway. Whatever feels good in your body today. Maybe finding some mobility through the shoulders and hips. Keeping with the breath. And our next inhale, I want you to find your way back to tabletop. From here, we're going to roll the toes underneath, press the hips up into downward dog. Here's an option for blocks. Placing the forearms down, lifting. Just finding a little more space in our downward dog. And grounding through the hands. Whatever option feels good for you. Maybe this is the time you pedal through your feet. Waking up those calves. Shifting the hips back and forth. Just waking up that lower half of the body. Knees can be softly bent. Pressing through our hands. So our palms are grounded into the earth. Fingers are spread wide, evenly distributing the weight between our hands and our lower body. Here for 2 more big breaths. And our next inhale, lift the right leg up. Big breath here, 3-legged dog. I want you to pull that knee forward to the right elbow and send it back. And lift over to the left elbow and send it back. One more, into the right elbow and send it back. And left and send it back. Next, inhale, lift the foot in between the hands, framing the foot. and lift high into crescent lunge. Front foot is grounded into the earth, pressing through all four corners of our feet, our foot. Our back foot pressing through that ball of the foot, letting that energy press from our hip flexor down into that ball of the foot. Our arms can be here on our waist, heart center, or lifting above. Really feel that energy pressing through that front foot all the way into that front glute. Letting the shoulders relax, finding our breath. Let's bring a little fire and heat. So taking that back leg, dropping it down to the floor and lifting up. Perfect. If we lose our balance, that's okay. Always an option to take a wider track on our mat. Pressing our foot out towards the edges of our mat. Good. 2 more breaths. Perfect. From here, options for blocks. We're going to lift that back leg into standing splits. Pressing through that front foot, extending that back leg as high as you can take it. Micro bend in the front knee. Nice and soft. One more big breath here. Let's inhale. Option to keep the blocks or lift. Here, we're going to take a twist. So taking that right arm out to the outside of the leg and press. This is an option to stay forward. Working on that balance here. So grounding that foot all the way, 4 corners into the ground, pulling that belly button in. Nice big open arms. One more breath. Rotate back to the center. Hurdle that left leg back open. Find warrior 2. Back foot can face towards the corner of the mat, or you can open it. You can also open into a wider track. Pressing that knee over top of that ankle. Really pressing into that front hip. Also, if this isn't your jam, you can lessen that bend. It's all warrior 2. Finding what works for our body today in our practice. Extend those arms out forward. Hips stay in the center, pressing to the front and the back of the room. So like someone is pulling you, but you're standing your ground in warrior 2. Yes, because we're perfect warriors. Letting the shoulders still relax. Embracing the pose. Taking our gaze over top of the fingertips. On our next inhale, press the back hand down the leg, lifting the top hand up towards the sky. Taking the gaze, maybe looking at the fingertips. Maybe it's out in front of us. Reverse warrior. Still pressing through both of our feet. Yes. Relaxing that shoulder. Maybe deepening that front bend, maybe lessening it. Windmill the hands back, warrior two. Pressing through that front foot, trying not to curl the toes underneath. Spread them out wide. Yes, use that base. One more big deep breath. In our next inhale, we're gonna pivot that back foot, come back to high crescent, and reach forward into warrior three. Here, blocks are an option. Or we can kickstand the foot here and lift. Warrior three. We have so many options here. Hip is soft, really grounding into that hip. Yes. Knee has a micro bend. Spreading through that foot, pulling that belly button in. Lengthening through that back foot. Wherever it is, that's okay. It doesn't have to be high and long. 2 more breaths. Oh, your warrior three looks so beautiful. Next, inhale. Slowly pull that knee in and just set it right next to the other one. Big inhale. Arms come overhead. Strong mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Hands down to the floor. They don't have to touch the floor, just down towards the floor. Lifting, halfway lift. Hands can be on the shins or thighs. Flattening out that back in a neutral spine. Crown goes long, shoulders relax. Exhale back down to the floor. Let's flow through our vinyasa, taking our feet back, high plank position. Option, knees, chaturanga, down to the floor, lift. Cobra or up dog, pressing the feet back into the floor. Hands are light. Your options, pressing back into downward dog. How do we feel? A little energized, a little sweaty, a little strong on one side, so we want the other to match. Pedal through those feet. 3 big breaths here. Hands are strong in the mat, pressing through, spreading the fingertips wide. One more big breath. On our next inhale, send that left leg up. Holding here for 2 breaths. On our next inhale, we're gonna pull that knee into the elbow, left elbow. Yes, lift up. Cross over to the right. Pulling that belly button in, still activating that core. Yes. Send it up and over to the right. Next inhale. Take that foot in between the hands, framing the foot. Lifting. Crescent lunge. Option for hands. Hips, heart center, or over top. Whatever feels good to you. Remember, we're taking that energy from that hip flexor, shooting it back down into that back leg, pressing, grounding through that front foot. Knee stacked over top of the ankle. Yes. We can be as low as we want to in our crescent lunge, spreading through our toes, keeping the shoulders soft. Finding our breath here. Are we ready for the heat? Yes. Maybe. The big inhale. Exhale, take that knee down to the floor. Two more big breaths. Last one. Option, standing split. Option for blocks. Pull that leg up. Yes. Grounding through that front foot. Option to grab that front leg. Wherever you are in your practice, make it your own. Pressing through that heel, spreading through those toes. Yes, those are what those are. Pulling that belly button into the spine. One more big breath here. Rise and lift. Knee comes forward. Option to stay here. Option, left arm comes outside. Twist. Extending those fingertips back to the back of the room or the back of your mat. Opening up, smiling. Yes, still engaging that core. That goes for belly buttons. Pulling that knee up. Flexing that quad. We're using our whole core here. And that's more than just here inside. Wobbles are okay. That builds our balance. If you twist it, come back to center. Hurdle that leg back. Find warrior two. Remember, play with your warrior. Find what base fits your body. Yes, bending into that front knee. Opening up, arms over the center. Gaze is over top of the fingers. Knee is stacked over top of the ankle. Shoulders are soft. Weight is evenly distributed through the front and the back foot. Nice. We are some strong warriors here. On our next inhale, arm goes down the back of the thigh, lifts top arm to the front of to the top of the sky. Gaze follows, or it could be out in front. Reverse warrior. Our sides are so different. So lifting this arm and looking up it's not my jam. So my jam is going to be to look towards the front of the room. Next, inhale, open back up, warrior two. Pressing back into that front leg, grounding through that front foot, all four corners. Equally pushing through that back foot, letting that energy just radiate between our legs into our bellies, up through our shoulders. Embrace that warrior. From here, we're gonna rotate forward. Inhale, soften the front hip, lift the back foot. Warrior three, option for blocks or extend out. I'm always so close to my mat. Also, here, kickstand, that warrior. Perfect. Extending, softening, knee is slightly bent, engagement, pulling that belly button in. Finding two more big breaths. Pulling that knee in, coming to the front of the mat. Lift the arms up. Strong mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down to the floor. Stepping through into our vinyasa. Options for chaturanga. Lift, cobra, or up dog. Rounding back into downward dog. So now that we have that flow, let's speed it up and go through it one more time. Yes. Inhale, lift the right leg. Pull the knee in to the elbow. Lift up. Take it across, left. Yes. Lift, right. Lift, left. Big inhale. Take that hand in between the feet. Lift, crescent lunge. 4 big breaths here. Take that knee down to the floor and lift. Good, pressing through that front foot. Perfect. Lifting, standing splits, option for blocks. Or down to the floor. 1 big breath. Inhale. Pull the knee up. Rotate for an option. 2 breaths. Come back to center. Hurdle open. Find that warrior two. 2 breaths. Reverse that warrior. On our next inhale, back into warrior two. Rotate back to the center, crescent lunge. Inhale, warrior three. Good, option for blocks. Inhale, pull the knee in. Exhale, big mountain pose. Inhale, exhale down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Flow through vinyasa. Good. Motion for cobra or up dog. All meeting back in downward dog. 2 more big breaths. On our next inhale, lift the left leg. Let's kiss the knee and elbow on the left. And to the right. To the left. Yes, engage that belly button. Next, inhale, frame the foot, lift, crescent lunge. Option for hands. 4 big breaths here, taking that knee down to the floor. Inhale, lift, standing splits. Option for blocks. One more big breath. Inhale, pull that knee. Option, stay here in the center. Option to twist. Doing so beautiful. I love this flow. Come back to the center. Open into warrior two. 2 big breaths. Inhale, warrior two. Or reverse warrior. I'm sorry. And inhale, back to warrior two. 2 big breaths. Inhale, rotate, warrior three. Option for blocks or option to kickstand. Inhale, knee comes forward, down on the mat, arms overhead. Exhale, down to the floor. Halfway lift. Exhale, down to the floor. Flow through vinyasa. Meeting back in downward dog. Finding our breath. So beautiful. Let's keep that heat up just a little longer. We're gonna lower our knees down to the floor. Option to hold here in tabletop with floating knees. Wrist right underneath the shoulders. I have to do some adjustments here. Long limbs, but pressing through our palms, spreading through our fingertips, activating that entire core, pulling our knees up to our hips, activating the front of that thigh, which is our quad, neutral spine, neck is long, pulling through the crown, pressing through our shoulders. Yes, we got this, pulling our belly button in. Yes, 2 more big breaths. Slowly lower the knees down to the floor. Open up the knees as wide as you want, sinking that belly and chest down to the floor. Letting that third eye rest on the mat. Option for a block. Child's pose. Sinking the hips into the heels. Still pressing through those hands. But letting the belly and the chest become soft. Finding some breath here. Next inhale. Slowly begin to rise Pressing our hands into the mat. We're going to shift our legs to the left or the right, pulling them out in front. Finding a nice angle here with our feet, pressing our feet down, but lowering our backs, taking our hands on our knees just until we have a micro bend in the elbow. Neutral spine, crown is long, shoulders are relaxed. You can bring the arms out to the side, boat pose. Yes, activating that middle here. Engagement through the belly button, option to lift, half boat. Sinking back into that tailbone. Keeping with the breath. Option to stay or option, lift toes up, full boat. Good, 2 more big breaths. Next inhale, slowly lower the legs down to the floor. We're gonna roll down onto our mats, 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. Taking the hands, interlocking them at the base of our skull here, right above the neck. Pulling the knees up into a 90-degree angle. Taking our right elbow, kissing the left in between, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Keep going at your own pace, your own breath. Two more breaths. Last big breath. Perfect. Lower those legs back down to the ground. We're going to press those heels into the floor, bringing them a little closer to our glutes, letting our palms face down to the earth, pressing them into the ground. We're lifting the hips up, shooting them up to the sky, squeezing through the back half of our body, lifting those hips high. Holding here. Lowering down to the floor. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shoot those hips back up. Still keeping activation through our hands and our heels. But keeping those feet grounded all the way into the earth. Squeezing through the backside of the body. Belly button is engaged. Shoulders are relaxed. One last big breath. Exhale, lower down to the floor. Big inhale. Big exhale. Inhale, lift. Squeezing everything in. Yes. One more big inhale. Exhale, lower everything down to the ground. Lengthening out both legs. We're going to take the right leg over top. Taking that right arm over and across the opposite way. Option to look towards that hand or up towards the ceiling, whatever feels good in your body. Just allowing that top leg to rest down to the floor. It doesn't have to touch the floor. Seated or supine twist. Just aiding our digestive system here. Giving our body some extra love. Maybe some snap, crackle, and pops. Inhale, roll onto our backs. Extend the right leg. Fold over the left, letting that leg just fall down to the floor. Extending that left arm open. Maybe you want to hold that left leg. Just let it fly. Option, gaze up to the sky or over to the left. Like I said before, our bodies aren't symmetrical, so looking up to the ceiling on this side is more comfortable in my body. Our next inhale, rolling back into the center. Let's take both knees into the chest. Just hugging everything in. Maybe you like to bring the forehead to kiss the knees. Whatever feels good in your body. Maybe rolling side to side, giving that lower back a nice, good massage before heading into our final Shavasana. Relaxing everything down to the floor, finding what is comfortable for you in Shavasana. I like to have this little round pillow here to help me in keeping my knees slightly bent, just to protect my low back as I lay down to the floor or flop. Just finding our breath here. Taking up as much space as you want. Relaxing our feet, our legs, our back, bellies, and butt. Our shoulders, our arms, palms are lifted up to the sky. Fingers are loose. Holding no tension. Opening up through our jaw. Just keeping our face nice and relaxed. Through the eyebrows, down into the ears. Finding our breath. Just melting our bodies into the earth. Staying here in Shavasana, allowing your body just to absorb the moments of silence the next time you hear my voice. we will be coming out of Shavasana. You are welcome to stay in Shavasana a little longer if you want, but begin to wiggle your fingers and toes if you are coming out of Shavasana, rotating through the arms and the legs, maybe taking the arms overhead for a big stretch. Finding yourself rolling to the left or the right in fetal position, staying here for a breath or two. On the next inhale, press your body up from the floor, coming back into a seated position. Finding whatever hand mudra suits you for closing the practice. I appreciate your time and practicing with me today. Thank you and namaste.